Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stuart Gadsden, not Simon Lomax, as it says. I'm Technical Sales Manager for the Kensa Group. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to hopefully promote a new way that we can heat new dwellings using well-established ground source heat pump technology and an innovative funding model. Why? We think it's simple, because these heating systems will produce the lowest cost and the lowest carbon heat, and they will provide investors with a generous and certain return. We believe that everybody wins. So a quick reminder that ground source heat pumps use electricity to run a compressor. This upgrades large volumes of low-grade heat, which is stored in the ground, into a smaller volume of high-grade heat. And this can be used for the space heating and hot water. The key advantage is their efficiency. If you have 1 kilowatt hour of electricity used to run the heat pump, that's going to produce about 3 to 4 kilowatt hours of heat. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to quickly talk about the concept, the government position, advantages, delivery, the management team, and finally, the opportunity. So at the moment, most homes are currently heated by mains gas. It's a high-carbon fossil fuel which requires plenty of remote and expensive infrastructure. Eventually, we have underground pipes which distribute gas to each property, and that serves an individual gas boiler. In the future, what we are hoping to do is to replicate this, and we have an underground network of pipes to extract the heat from that ground to serve individual heat pumps in each property. We are creating a shared ground loop. So there's an individual ground source heat pump in the properties. It qualifies as district heating. That individual household owns its own heat pump, it maintains its own heat pump, and it pays for its heat to its electricity company. A separate entity can own the ground array. They are rewarded by the government subsidy, which is a 20-year from the non-domestic RHI, and also an annual connection fee. We believe our system is a little bit simpler than the gas network. There's no remote infrastructure. The energy is there in the ground underneath the property. So let's talk about the government's position on heat pumps. And the good news is that they're very supportive. They recognise that ground source heat pumps are strategically important technology for decarbonising heat, and they reckon there's going to be significant growth in this technology up to 2050. The government's keen to support the deployment of ground source heat pumps with shared ground loops, and shared ground loops should offer investment confidence for a range of product developments within new builds and mixed-use projects. And then in May 2018, the government passed its long-awaited refinements to the RHI regulations, so that now, if you invest in them, the RHI income can be linked now to the EPC. It's no longer having to be metered, so as long as you've got an EPC, you know the income at fixed point before the property is actually built. So the investor has certainty of return, and the RHI income doesn't have to benefit one specific group, the person in the house. It can now be the person who owns the ground array. And we are calling this concept split ownership. So this means that investors can invest in the ground array. The house builders themselves, they have no interest in owning the infrastructure. They just want to build the houses and get off-site. They will invest in the technology inside the property because they would normally have to invest in some form of heating system anyway. So someone else can invest in the ground array, the builder invests in the technology inside the property. Why does the government want to help with renewable heating? Lots of attractions. So ground source heat pumps are entirely unobtrusive. The energy infrastructure is in the ground. The technology is inside the properties. We can support load shifting, which has been talked about a little bit today. Ground arrays can also be viewed as vital national infrastructure, providing a valuable legacy for the subsidy support. Once the boreholes are installed, they're going to be there for at least 100 years or so. But principally, it's the low carbon emissions and the low running costs.
Stuart, 1 minute.
Thanks. So if we look at the carbon, lots of numbers on the screen which I'm not going to go through in detail, but crucially, the key thing to point out is the carbon intensity of electricity generation has fallen already, and it's set to fall rapidly over the next few years. Heat pumps are a lot more efficient than a gas boiler, and so because the intensity of the gas market stays stable, ground source heat pumps will be emitting far less carbon than gas boilers. As well as the lower carbon, we have lower running costs, already lower running costs today than mains gas, and that's set to continue as we have variable tariffs. We'll move to thermal stores with phase change materials, and we'll also have electricity storage capabilities. So why invest in the Kensa Group? We're made up of three companies. We've got Kensa Heat Pumps. We are the long-established market leader in the UK with about 35% of the ground source heat pump market. Established in 1999, privately owned. It's a profitable company, and we have zero debt. And we have our unique shoebox product range, which is quiet and small enough to go inside people's houses. Kensa Contracting, we've installed over 1,000 heat pumps around the UK now. They're out there. They're working predominantly in social housing, but also now within private developments. And then Kensa Utilities, which has been established to own and maintain ground array assets. We've got a hugely experienced and ambitious management team chaired by Lord Taylor. Unfortunately, we don't have loads of cash, and that's why I'm standing here today. So what are the opportunities? I think there's three opportunities. The first one, you can directly invest in Kensa. We're looking for up to 500k over the next 6 months, and that's to support various business development opportunities and initiatives as we try and grow this market within the UK. Or secondly, we're looking for people who would be interested in investing in the shared ground loops, so actually take ownership of the ground arrays, and up to £10 million over the next 24 months, and we believe we can offer a minimum 10% return on that. And obviously, if you want to do both of them, then that would be fantastic as well. So we do believe, and we hope, that we can change the way that new homes are heated from now on. Thanks a lot.